Welcome to the Be That Healing Girl podcast, and this episode is all about seeking constant reassurance and what it says to your partner. And if you're a girly who, when you get a compliment or they're telling you that they like you or they love you, you're like, more! Like, give me more! And you're like foaming at the mouth and it's just not enough, then this episode is for you. And I'm just giggling and laughing, and I'm definitely not making fun of you because I'm just more making fun of myself because I have been there foaming at the mouth, like, I need more and it's not enough. And I just say that with lightheartedness. And I also believe if you're not having fun during your healing, you're doing it wrong. So just like giggle at yourself. And yeah, this episode is going to dive deep in like what message is being sent to your partner, and where can we look at for the first place that we can look at to start changing this. All right. If that is you, then you're in the right spot. And hello, my name is Claire. I'm a relationship coach, and I love helping perfectionistic, overachieving, high-performing girlies who slay in your careers but struggle in your relationships. And just a reminder that success in your career might look like academics. You might be a doctor going in medical school. You might be climbing the corporate ladder. You might be in the school of life. Maybe you're rocking it with getting Airbnbs and multiple doors and all the good things. And I just want you to know that success can look very different. Also, being a mom is, for me, I think the highest measure of difficulty that we can endeavor in. All right. So let me just be really clear with that. And if that's you, you're my type of lady. Okay. So let's talk about it. Oh, and also hitting the 5-star review on any of the platforms. Spotify, Apple means so much. Hit that high five, especially Apple. Y'all, thank you so much for doing that. Okay. So let's talk about seeking that constant reassurance. Let's do it. And this is something I just really feel so near and dear to my heart and I'm really going to be talking to the person out there, the girly, the woman that is, you're with a good person. Okay. And let me just give you an example. When I first started dating my husband, if you didn't know, I was anxiously attached. He was avoidant, and now we have an earned secure marriage because we earned it. Even though our attachment styles were complete opposites, which had its challenges, but now we're here. I also knew that deep down he was a good guy. And let me just tell you, just the thing that just cracked me open the first time I met him was he introduced himself and we're getting to know each other. And I found out he was a middle school math teacher. Like, what? Like, sob. So sweet. And I just have to share this piece because I think about how this experience told me he was such a freaking great guy. But when we were first dating, he was in the school and he invited me for, like, I want to say open house, but that's not it. It's not an open house, open school night, parents' night. That's what it was. So the parents were going by, and not parent-teacher meetings, but like a parents' night. And so he was doing this presentation to introduce himself to the parents, and he had me come and he also, every year he's done this, his parents were going. Like, it was me and his parents. It was so sweet. And he would just share, and this is my support system. My parents were teachers. It just was like so sweet. And being in his classroom, I could just see just the love that he put into his career and to the students, and just the handmade stuff all over the walls. Like, the kids freaking loved him. And it just was so obvious to me that this one was a winner. He was a good guy. And that's like the external. But with me, and just even more knowledge and background about me, is that we were long distance-ish. So we lived about, depending on traffic, it could be 75 minutes, it could be 90 minutes, it could be on a real good day, like middle of the night or 4 o'clock in the morning, would be maybe 55 minutes, but it was a solid, like, not around the corner. And when we were together, it was good. And those of you who are long distance or long distance-ish, or just, I mean, honestly, this can be for any of you, but when it was good and we were together, it was good. And I just knew in my heart he was a good guy. And this is what that constant reassurance, if you're just like, you are relentless with it, and I am a Sag, I can really go ham for it. But this is going to be, I'm going to deliver this tenderly and with a lot of love, but seeking that constant reassurance when they're telling you and they are giving you reassurance. And so they are telling you that they like you. This is some examples. Okay. They tell you that they like you. They tell you that they love you. They are, giving you cuddles. And it's just like, you're like, well, tell me more. Or it's like the clock internally resets and you totally forgot about it and you ask again, right? If you know what I'm talking about. And here is how it lands. And this is something that my husband and I have worked through, and just it was a good reflection for me to look at. But what it really says to your partner, and I'm going to say this with love, is that you aren't listening. I know. And here, I just also want to say this just with a lot of understanding and tenderness, is that the part of the problem is that it feels so short-lived, right? You're getting the reassurance, you're hearing that he likes you, you're hearing that he loves you, but it's like, psst, it's just like a fizzle. You know those fireworks that you like literally hold in your hand and you throw on the ground and it pops? Like, that's for me how short-lived it was. It wasn't even like that slow snake thing or like 30s. It was just like a pop. And when we are operating from that place of fear and we are not self-soothing and we don't know how to regulate ourselves and we're not understanding where this wound is coming from, and this person is giving you the reassurance, they're literally telling you, they just told you. And this was so obvious in my relationship, he would get frustrated because he literally felt like he wasn't being heard. And let's be honest, if they are giving it to you and you're not picking up the phone, if you are not fully receiving it, they're going to keep calling. And there is just, some people have a long driving with that and some people don't. But ultimately, the rub and the challenge and how that impacts them is they don't feel heard. And let me ask you this. How would you feel in a relationship if you were not heard? That is, oof, I know. And a lot of you, I know, all of you want to be fully seen, heard, and feel safe. 3 big things that we all want. But imagine that we are not allowing our partner to be heard the first time or the second day that they say that, right? It's like, I don't care. Just not feeling heard doesn't feel good, right? So that's what it's saying to your partner. And so when we look at, okay, well then what's the first place that we can look at to solve that is, how can you open the channels to receiving that? And the reality is, if you struggle with your own confidence, if you struggle with your sense of self, an example of having a struggle with sense of self is not having really good boundaries. You struggle with your self-worth, then those are indicators that the receiver, like the part that's open to somebody telling you something, yeah, that's going to have some impact, right? It's going to have some negative impact in your ability to receive. So working on how to receive is a major, major, major part of healing, so that, because it's a conversation, it's a dialogue, right? That call and response within the dynamic of a relationship, that he says whatever compliment, I like you, I love you, and you're able to receive it, and then that energy flows outward. And I'm not saying that you don't say it, it's an energy. It's an underlying piece that, because have you ever had somebody say thank you, but you didn't feel it? You could not feel the gratitude. Or maybe you've said thank you, but you really didn't mean it. There's men too, we are energetic beings where we can feel things. Men in a very different way, I believe, are very intuitive. So this really requires us to get take a big old dump. The receiver end is constipated, right? There's a blockage. We've got to clean it out. All right. So let's move on to, unironically, the mailbox, which I just laugh at how on par I am with my community, because I had planned out this topic and then I looked at the mailbox, and this is literally this so connected to this episode. I'm going to take it one step deeper with how I answer it. Okay. So P.S. I open the mailbox. The mailbox, this is a hotline within my community, the Healing Girl Gang. I'll put the link below. In the Healing Girl Gang, we're doing the deep work. They get trainings and master classes, implementation days. Just check it out down below. All right. So this is from Jamie. And Jamie says, I constantly ask the same question sometimes, just in a different way. My boyfriend says, want more and more, and he's at the limit because of the same questions I don't even realize. Sorry, there's some spelling errors. Why don't you kiss me? Why don't you hold me? Can you blank? Will you blank? Why don't you? That was all bold and italicized, by the way. So they are most always about love and affection or myself. Like the other night, he said he was going to relax, and I said, with me? Which he said same category as asking for other stuff. Knowing deep down I go to bed with him every night, but he said I have spent time with you, so it triggered me. It's like it's never good enough. I mean, can you relate? And he says I'm always negative and complaining, and he gives me everything. He's at his end of his rope, and if you don't stop asking, I'm sorry, this is not making sense to me, and get all my needs met, which others have said too. It's like a cycle or habit, and I guess it's because of reassurance, especially since there's been a pattern over a year. Now the pot is about to boil over. But if I'm leaving for a weekend and won't see him, and it's early and I want a hug, how can I ask him to hug me without being needy? Okay. So that sentence right there. And I'm again going to be very careful with how I answer questions, because I don't know the whole background. I don't know in depth about this, like her whole history or the guy's history. So I only know based on the language that I see here. And so I also just want to be careful with this and to give a disclaimer that I only know based on the fact that's presented in front of me. And we can't make a judgment. We wouldn't want to go to trial with one sentence, right? We can't really make a judgment. We need evidence. We need facts. We need corroboration. So I just say that because it's really important to know that I'm only looking at one small sliver of the whole dynamic of a multifaceted thing called relationship. But the one thing that I can like look at here with you is I want a hug. How can I ask him to hug me without being needy? So let me just tell you, you are allowed to ask, okay? You're allowed to ask. And here's the thing. I can go and ask for a burger at Chick-fil-A. That's my right as an American, okay? America. I also don't necessarily like patroning Chick-fil-A, but occasionally I do sin, but I love my gays. So you're allowed to ask, okay? You have that divine right. And in relationship, we can ask, but also the thing to really consider is a shop even open, right? And if you keep asking for a burger at Chick-fil-A, they're gonna be like, what? Are you okay? We don't have burgers here, right? So it's less about can I ask or how do I ask, and more about what is behind the ask. And because the key here is without being needy, the need for it is the thing that you want to look at. Okay. Like what is driving that, because we need water. Okay. We need water. And like, I just say this with so much love that do you really need the hug? I mean, your mind might make you think or seem like you need the hug, but who you're being and where the ask is coming from, because need is from can when we are operating from a place of I need this, that can say scarcity, and scarcity is fear. Okay, that I need it because if I don't get it, bad things are going to happen, right? And nothing bad, I love you so much, but nothing bad's going to happen if you don't get that hug at 8 o'clock at night. Okay, if he, like, seriously, like, you're not going to die. You might feel like you're going to die, but you're not. So it's less about how do I ask for it and can I ask for it. It's the intention. It's the intention and the energy, the subconscious thoughts and the subconscious feelings that are behind and underneath the ask. That's the most important thing. And this also, I will say this about, like, having a conversation. It's less about the things that are being said, and it's who you're being when you say the thing, right? Because we can say something that's, let's just take something that's very innocuous. So I loved that dress you wore, and I'm so curious what you did with it. I loved that dress you wore, and I am curious what you did with it. I mean, you can feel that second one, I don't know, I was trying to make up judgment. I have a hard time because I love my friends, but I can imagine myself saying that. But I was trying to inject and was coming from a place of I'm feeling jealous and judgy. So you can maybe just feel the difference between that, like who I was being and the intention behind those words, which were the same, landed differently. So it is really about, it's not the asking for a hug is wrong. It's the intention and who you're being and where the ask is coming from. Is it coming from a place of scarcity and fear? Or is it a place from non-attachment and openness? And openness. All right. And also, Jamie, we're working on this in the Healing Girl Gang. We're doing it together, and I'm proud of you. I know that you're showing up. I can't wait to dive into this with you more. And I hope also that if you're listening to this podcast, that you're taking away whatever nugget that you need to take away from in whatever is being shared when I answer the mailbox. Okay, angels. I love you. I care about you. You've got this. Mwah.